I really feel like the group that you've kind of created, they give great advice. What great discussions, what great perspective to hear from other people who maybe are struggling with something that you really weren't able to articulate. I just feel like there's so much value in a group setting like you do, but also having the opportunity to then say, to have some one-on-one time as well. I think it's a great balance.
Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of the Profitable Joyful Consulting Podcast. This season, we have been talking about the drivers of success in a consulting business. And today, I want to showcase one of my clients and share a bit of a case study about her work with me and the results that she has gotten. She's going to tell it in her own words because I think it's really the most exciting thing when we can hear from someone who is actually doing the work that we're doing and hear what they've been doing to grow the business. Sherry will share with you that her business has grown. I think it's doubled pretty much year after year after year. She calls this year, the year that she spent working with me, the most successful year ever in her business. And if I were hearing that, if I were in your shoes, I would want to say, how? Like, what did you do to make it that? And how did you change yourself and your business so that that happened? So you're going to hear Sherry share with you several things. I think it's amazing the amount of time that she will spend talking about mindset. And I hope that you will find that as fascinating as I did, because it really seems odd that something like confidence or boundaries are going to be as important as they are, but they are transformational in you getting the results that you want to get in your business. Another thing that's amazing is Sherry once was working with 37 clients in a year. 37. And you would think that that was a really profitable year, but I think that you probably know from listening to the show that 37 clients is pretty much a nightmare scenario for most of us. You want to have fewer clients and you want to work with them more deeply. And that is exactly what's happening with her right now. So she has way more, like between 6 and 10 clients that she's working with, and she's making dramatically more money in her business than she had ever made before. So you don't have to have high numbers of clients. This is the thing that I think relieves so many of the consultants that I work with when they hear this, is like, you don't need all of those people. You need a few clients that you're working with on a very deep level. And that deep level can be anywhere from $25,000, $50,000 per year, all the way up to $1 million per year. So the sky is the limit for you. And you're going to hear about how the sky was the limit and is getting closer and closer. For Sherry Quam Taylor, my client, the thing that I'm happiest about and that gives me the most pleasure from hearing her talk about her year is the priority that she has placed on the joy factor and being more joyful in the business. Listen, you're smart. You know that you can work really hard and you can push and you can drive yourself and you can get the results that you want in your business. But can you do it in a joyful and sustainable way that will not exhaust you? That's what a lot of us are relearning, is how to really be present in our businesses, to focus ourselves, apply ourselves in ways that don't wear us out. So one of the cool things that you're going to hear Sherry reference is this idea of an A+ student. And when I was working in my mastermind one day, I said to them, there's a lot of people who are called to be consultants, but aren't necessarily motivated by money. Now, some of us are. Some of us still get excited about money. But a lot of times what will motivate us is like being a really good student. Like, how do I get an A in this course? And our best clients, they want to be, even if they weren't good students at school, like abstractly speaking, what they want to do is they want to be like your best client. Tell them what would make you proud of them. How can they get an A in your class? Like, what does an A+ look like? And a lot of times A+ just looks like implementing. Just implement the things because they work. So Sherry is like beyond an A student. She's definitely an A+ student and shows up, understands, like asks questions, does the work, applies herself and gets results, and then celebrates, right? Celebrates and shares those results with others. So I'm super excited for you to hear from her. I will introduce her in a moment, but remember, I'm always excited to hear your takeaways. So after you hear the show, you can find me on social media and share with me what your takeaways were from Sherry's story. You're also welcome to private message me on LinkedIn or other platforms where you find me, because I do want to hear, like, what did you take away from this? It's super fun and inspiring, I think, and I want to know what inspired you. So let's meet Sherry. Sherry Quam Taylor, founder and president of Quam Taylor LLC, shows nonprofit CEOs how to raise millions more in Gen Ops dollars so they can fund their strategic plan and increase budgets by 2 to 5 times. She breaks their teams free from the limitations of transactional fundraising events and helps them reimagine their entire approach to revenue generation. Sherry's clients learn how to attract investment level donors that want to fund their work. But the biggest transformation they experience is knowing the exact strategy, path, and team that will propel them to generate 2 to 10x dollars their strategic plans require. Sherry attributes the success of her business to her passion for modeling radical confidence to the future CEOs in her house, her 2 teenage daughters. I want you to listen for Sherry to make a bold claim about the results that she gets for her clients in here. When you do this kind of work and you really develop the confidence in what you can deliver repeatedly, then you'll be able to articulate a bold claim like that as well. Check it out.
I decided to start working with Samantha because one of the key factors in the success of me growing my business has been objectivity. Frankly, it's the same thing that I provide my clients, which is always hard to sell, to say like, well, I'm objective. I can see the solution. I can lead you somewhere where that maybe you're struggling to see. And so I am a big believer in investing in myself. I'm a big believer in having a coach. Even on my, like, my whole business is run, my spreadsheets that I love. I've consistently worked with coaches, and I'll put a little mark on that revenue growth and be like, that's when I invested in that coach. That's when I've invested in that coach. And so it reminds me when I get in those moments where I'm being irrationally frugal and thinking, oh, I don't need that objective outsider coming in. I do. I have to consistently invest in myself. I've been very conscious of leveling up my coaches. And so, which is a wonderful thing, right? Like I get to the point and I say, oh, I need next level. And so exactly when I think I first heard Samantha on a website, I was like, oh, she's next level, or webinar. I need that next level. I need what she's talking about. I'd also say the value of looking for that person who's going to help you think bigger, help you think more abundant, help you think in more confident ways. That actually also attracts, I should say, it puts you in the room with other people who are in that mindset, and other people who are also trying to get to that next level of your business. And that's critical to be sitting on a group call with amazing other professionals going, gosh, I think I can do that too. And that's a pretty wild number that person just quoted. But to me, it was this, all right, now it's time to go next level. So it was really kind of a no-brainer to say, like, this is who I want to be around and want to work with. So at the time when I first heard about Samantha, I would say that I was growing, like my business was growing. It wasn't like, oh no, what are we going to do? But I, as an entrepreneur, am hungry. I always want next level. That absolutely drives my husband crazy. I'm the like, oh, well, oh, good, we hit that. Let's raise the bar. So, what was going on in my business was I was just continually growing my business year after year, but there was always I'm just a little nagging voice maybe in the back of my head saying, it's going to be a lot bigger. And do you need really, what are these kind of just few little tweaks? I think nothing crazy. We don't need to completely shift the whole way you're running your business, but what are these things that maybe I can't see because I'm too deep in? So I think I was looking for somebody to really say, no, you need to do this. And it's just these 3 things. And it's actually not that scary to take those steps. My business was scaling, but I think that one thing I wanted for my business, which is way better now, was just that consistency of billing, that long-term work. And I had a lot of those clients, but I wasn't always proposing that. And so I like to know, I like to look far out. I like to look on the horizon and say, great, I know what I'm billing in 6 months. This feels good. And so I think like I was looking for just a little bit a longer view and confidence in how to get to that longer view. So the biggest thing that made in the program that made a difference for me was really owning the fact that I should be only offering to my clients what they need. Oftentimes people come to me and say, "Hey, I needed this, and I needed this," and I'll say, I can do that." But I'm like, "Gosh, but those are maybe addressing symptoms. What you really need would be this, right?" Um, and sometimes I would find myself saying, "Well, let's start here. Maybe it'll move to that." Um, I know what they need. I am the expert at scaling, in this case, a nonprofit's general operating support. And so I think you helped me see that there's actually power in telling someone, like, actually, this is the process you need to go through. And to get results, we need to work together for a full year. Full stop. This is what it looks like. And really, I guess reflecting on my own business and saying, like, I need you to get results too. Like, my business isn't going to scale if your nonprofit's revenue isn't going to scale. And so therefore I do need to offer you what you need and something that is a guaranteed, if you will, solution. And so that seems so practical, right? Um, but sometimes you get in your mind and you think, well, we'll start here, or well, maybe they do really need this. And so I think just owning that and being confident in that meeting to say, let me share with you what I'm seeing for you. So this specific thing that I think that I reflect on that I started doing, or really what made a difference was um, it's less of like what did you start doing and more of what did you stop doing. Sometimes we really have to be reflective and say, do I need to stop doing kind of one-off engagements? Do I need to stop working with clients who are under this dollar amount of annual revenue? Do I need to stop working with leaders who are amazing leaders, but are maybe a little more scarcity minded, where I want to work with people who are scaling and growing and want to learn. I want to work with A+ students. I want to work with people who say, teach me. I want to make a change. And so I think that part of the work of us really looking and saying, who are those ideal clients? Who's that perfect client? And really owning that and saying, I get to be a little choosy here. I'm not desperate. I'm scaling my business. And I really want to pivot and serve the people I want to serve. And so that it's a wonderful relationship. It's a win-win relationship. Um, Making that shift, I love getting on the calls with my clients. When they're an ideal client and you say, oh my gosh, I get to talk to Sarah today. Cool. I just hung up with her. Like, and that is joy in my business. That's why I'm doing this. So that's what I would say to that. I would say working with Samantha is fun. I put personally, I've been accused of this, and I probably would admit it too. I put a lot of emotional energy into decisions. I drain myself putting kind of like overthinking things and like what if, and I'm an Enneagram 6, so it's like how many roadblocks can I put up to make sure I get the result I need to get. And so like I need a coach who says like, no, you need to do this. And that's to be able to laugh about it and know each other well enough to be like, I know you're right. I know you're right. And so I feel like working with you, what I value from you is like, it's like take it or leave it. This is what you need to do. Because you don't have those filters or all that kind of baggage of that I might be wading through, that I really value. You kind of being quick to the decision or quick to the question of like, well, why are you doing it that way? Honestly, that's some of the most powerful kind of direction you've given me. So it's interesting. I've been in a community kind of group coaching program before. And before I did even that one, I actually was really gun shy about was like, I don't know, who are these people going to be? Like I don't like, am I going to feel like I can share? Um, I have to tell you, I actually thrive in that situation. And I do, as a person who does all one-on-one coaching, I actually love I actually love the group format. And so I think the secret sauce or the magic of maybe the group you're bringing together is that there are opportunities to meet in person. You go to fun places. And gosh, does that change the relationship when then you come back to the group and we're all virtual? Meeting people from all over, being inspired by amazing men and women who are scaling and leading businesses. I really feel like the group that you've kind of created, gosh, they give great advice. What great discussions, what great perspective to hear from other people who maybe are struggling with something that you really weren't able to articulate. And so I just feel like there's so much value in a group setting, like you do, but also having the opportunity to then say to have some one-on-one time as well. I think it's a great balance. So as a result, I can say right now I'm in my most financially successful year ever for my business. But I would say even more important, or just maybe of equal importance, um, I really enjoy the people I'm working with. I enjoy my clients. I think you've given me a pass to say, work hard to find those really fruitful and joyful, to take your word, engagements. And to say that's okay. We don't have to, not everybody I talk to is going to be a great fit. And so do I love that, my clients are scaling, the size organizations I'm working with is scaling tremendously. I think part of that is just the abundant thinking that you've really led me to and led me to really embrace. It's just been remarkable to look back, even 18 months ago, just the change in approach, the positive outlook that I have. I always feel like scaling your business is sure, it's tactics, and sure, we got to put the processes in place, and there's all the behind the scenes thing, but gosh, it's the mindset work, isn't it? It's the why am I thinking this way? Why, what from my deep dark past is making me kind of question this? Um, even my teenage daughter came home and she had to kind of like co-lead something in her PE class. She was like, the feedback the teacher gave is I wasn't speaking confidently. And I said, you gotta really think about, like, that's a mindset thing. Were you worried what your classmates were saying? And I said to her, I'm still working on that with my coaches, and I'm in my mid 40s. And it was true. I was like, I always say, like, Samantha, give me your confidence. I'm going into a meeting, give it to me. But it's true. We get in our own heads, and you have to keep investing in yourself as a business leader. So there are probably two main outcomes, I would say, that came as as a result of our work together. One being my quantity of clients, which went down, it's actually a really good thing, because I would have, like, oh gosh, I should have looked up the count, but like 30, 50 clients. That's too much. I cannot serve people as well as I want to serve them. And so one of the big shifts that you've really helped me see and make is, yes, I'm doing longer engagements because that's when my clients get results. So I'm offering that. But that also means I need to be working with less organizations. I am really passionate about being available to my clients when they call. And when they have an emergency meeting, or when they have an opportunity with a donor that has landed on their plate and it's on Friday, I need to be able to pick up the phone. I cannot do that if my entire day is booked. And so you've helped me not only hone my ideal client. I think one time you even said, like, speak only to that ideal client as to, like, you, as almost in a way that you'd be repelling everybody else, right? Really speak to them. And so making that shift and really owning that shift and saying, I am speaking to the 10 people I want to be working with this year. Because I want to have really change 10 people's nonprofits. deeply, deeply for the long term. So that's a huge shift that was made in my business. So what that did, which is probably the second biggest thing, is, oh my gosh, so now in a weird way, I was spending less client time. But you were like, okay, so when are you spending time on you, Sherry? When are you spending time on your business? Because I am my biggest client. And so you really helped me see that I wasn't spending enough time on my business. I didn't have really great boundaries. And so I've really grabbed hold of my schedule and said, this day, I'm actually not doing client meetings because I need to be, I don't know, something crazy like thinking. I need to be reading. I need to be thinking, how can I get my clients better results? How can I invest in myself today? Sure, there's all the business stuff I need to be doing too, but there's I think a big shift for me has just been that just to recognize that I really can't spend 5 days a week on client service, or I will burn out. I was probably a little burnt out when we started working together. It's like, that was a rough couple, 2020, 2021, like, whew. And I needed to gain that back and get control of that. And I think even just a really practical exercise we did was like, get your calendar up, get your calendar. Like, where are you blocking time? How are you kind of color coding? What does that look like? I do it to this day. And you know what I'll say? When I get weak and I book a client meeting during that time when I said this, I always regret it. I regret it. One of the biggest takeaways or lessons, I guess I'll say, that I learned is that it's actually okay not to do all the things. Samantha has this concept of sell one thing for a year. I don't need to be offering customized, to some extent, offerings all over the board. And I think sometimes that focus, that lesson of focus to say, hey, this one thing you sell works. You have results that it works. You have the results that it's scaling organizations by millions. So let's just keep selling that, if you will. I think that's so important because every single day we could go online or go on social media or anywhere, and people are telling you needed this, you needed this, you need a passive revenue, you need a download. It's like, how can I can't do all of that. And it really makes you feel guilty of like, why am I not doing that? And so I think one big takeaway was it's okay to sell the one thing every day. Probably second part is like, you got to keep repeating and keep that core messaging at the front. We may feel like a broken record, but today is that one time that one new person is hearing you for the first time. So gosh, we have to be speaking to that ideal client. Gosh, we got to be speaking to that client's pain points, and really helping them understand that, like, I understand your problem. I can solve your problem. And then I think the probably the last thing would be just a stronger and I guess I'll say more confident understanding of the deep value I do bring to my clients. They raise millions more when they work with me, and this is not a time to be humble. And that sometimes, we're not all just going to be like, brash about it, but there's not time to be humble, and we need. There's only one person who can share with you the results. And so I think you've given me some practical tips on how do I share a case study? How do I articulate the changes that have happened in my clients' organizations in a way that really has attracted new clients, attracts a tribe, even on LinkedIn, which I'm on all the time. People, it's amazing to me. Anytime I have a discovery call, LinkedIn comes up every time. And I say, oh, that's funny. You haven't liked anything. You haven't commented on anything, which is cool. But it's really built that know, like, and trust factor and that consistency. And you really have to understand your value to do that day in and day out. If somebody was considering, like, weighing, like, should I do this or not? like I'm a person who actually, I was never skeptical about the process. But I wonder if people are skeptical sometimes of starting with a coach because they've never done it before. I literally remember the first time I invested in a coach, like my finger set on the hover button of like, the credit card, like, I don't, that feels like a big number. Now, now I invest so much more in coaches because, you have to, as a leader, invest in yourself. What got you maybe here to here is not going to get you here. And so my biggest message when other consultants call me, or, friends who are starting their businesses, I said, hey, I didn't, this is the 10th year of my business. I started investing in myself and in my business probably at year like 7. And I said, the one thing I would have done different would be to invest in myself year 1 or 2. Who knows what it would be now? And so you need the wisdom of others. You need the partnership of others. And the sooner you can realize that as a leader, the sooner your organization or business, that we're talking about today, will scale. I would say jump in. Any type of coaching or any type of investment you make in yourself, if you commit to doing the work, right? I want clients who are going to do the work. I do the work when I have coaches. You will make your money back, and probably tenfold. Don't make it about the money. Make it about the investment in yourself, is what I always tell people. So one of the most specific things that Samantha helped me see in our work together was that I was going too fast through the discovery process. I'm like, oh, great, good. I can help you. Here we go. You really helped me understand the process and the value in slowing down the discovery process, even though that felt super counterintuitive. We want to take time and make sure it's a match. Again, like, I usually have a full client load, like now I'm booking clients for next year. So let's make sure this is an ideal client. Let's make sure in 6 months when it's a Wednesday and like, oh, I'm meeting with that group. Yes. Like, let's make sure that's the case. And I think a lot of that kind of issue before was, I was just like, yeah, anybody who needs help, I will help. That wasn't real wise. And so that slowing down, that discovery process was critical. It should happen in multiple calls. Who cares if it takes 4 or 5? That actually might be the best client because they're really trying to make a great decision. And frankly, we're trying to decide, like, do you like me and do I like you? Like, there's some of that going on, which is great. Because if we're going to link arms together and scale, in this case, they're nonprofit, we got to like each other, which means we have to spend some time together to see if that is truly the case. I think probably the other, like, cousin part of that question, kind of a big takeaway, or just I guess a lesson, would be, I don't have to get on the phone with everybody who reaches out. To really just take a second and qualify and say, hey, what did your organization raise last year? And what are you raising this year? And just to say, you know what, I'm actually not working with organizations of that scale or of that type, or who's out of the country, whatever it is, where, oh my gosh, Samantha, if I had a count, I probably would, my mind would be blown on the discovery calls that I've gotten on, and just the time that I've maybe misallocated talking to people who are not ready to invest in the services, or not ready to invest in themselves. They're just in a different part of their business. And so that seems so simple, but gosh, I think it saved me, I don't know how many hours a week that saves me, of just really being choosy on who I am getting on the phone with, to investigate, like, is it a good fit? Can I help you? And to really own that has been critical. So as I look ahead to next year, I'd say my perspective is, well, frankly, just bigger. I've never been so brave to set a big goal than perhaps this next year. And you know why? Because I did the work. I want to be an A+ student. And so I've done the work and have been consistent in the work. And so just like my clients who say, oh gosh, I think we can have more revenue, or we think we can have bigger budgets for our nonprofits. I think the shift you've given me is like, I actually have the tools to do something greater and bigger than I ever maybe thought this business could do when I started it. And so one of my colleagues, she'll always say like, oh, Sherry, October is your rough month. I know, because you're like, what's going on? What's going to happen next year? What does it look like? And so even this October, she was like, how's October? And I was like, it's actually pretty good. I actually have never felt more confident, because I'm able to look out longer. I know I'm doing the things that actually yield results. And so even if something feels a little slow or it's busy with the holidays, I can really sit way more confidently and say, we'll have the results because I'm doing the things that yield results. Again, if all of us could take the same advice we give our own clients and put it, do it internally and have it reflect our own businesses, I suppose we wouldn't need coaches, but we can't do that. We all need that outside objectivity and that guidance and that partnership. And that's just what I've really found with Samantha.
Thanks for watching. I'd appreciate if you'd like this episode, and if you enjoyed the show, why not subscribe? Be sure to click the bell to get notified when new episodes drop.